Just one more day to vote early ahead of Election Day on Tuesday for the Texas primary. Already about 1.4 million Texans have cast a ballot out of the more than 18 million people registered to vote here in the state. Now, these early voting numbers are breaking records in many counties for the primary turnout, where we often see just a small fraction of voters determining who ends up on the November ballot and potentially here in office. Now, these numbers are a welcome change for some advocates who have been working to increase primary turnout for years. That includes at the Builders Movement. That's a nonpartisan nonprofit working to help Americans overcome what they describe as an us versus them mindset and solve problems together. So joining us here this afternoon is Stacey Blakely, the executive director at Builders, and Mark Strama, a former Texas state representative and now director of the Annette Strauss Institute for Civic Life at the University of Texas at Austin, not too far from us here. So Mark and Stacey, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
So Stacey, I want to start with you because the campaign you all are running right now, we may have all seen these kind of upside down armadillos in ads or around town. So explain more about what's going on with those.
Well, the underlying goal of this obviously is to drive more turnout for the primaries. And like you said, historically, like 1 in 5 Texans participate. And we realize that if we're going to have more power in the hands of sort of the overwhelming majority and not the extremes, then we just got to get more folks out. And we started looking historically at what campaigns had been successful. It had been really, in Texas especially, no one had ever really tried humor, irreverence, maybe a little ridiculous. And so we're doing a multimedia campaign centered on the small mammal of Texas, the official, which is the armadillo, and it's turnout or rollover. And so it's really about taking advantage of your opportunity to vote and not rolling over so that maybe representative sort of government doesn't represent you. So we have, like you said, we've got kind of chalk outlines of armadillos around town, and we've also had a masked armadillo making appearances with a live armadillo, shocking and scaring.
An actual real one.
Yes, a real one with a scary one. And it's gone viral. We've had 1.3 million views, and we haven't even revealed our celebrity armadillo, which is today. So we're reaching a whole new demographic too. I was just sharing with Mark, 18 to 24-year-old men like our content, which is not normally our demographic, and that's the group that votes the least. So we're really excited about that. Okay, so hopefully that leads them to go to the polls. And Mark, you are a frequent guest here on this show, so we appreciate you coming back for this. But you've been talking a lot about the problem of people not going to vote, particularly in primaries. So what are your concerns about people not showing up and doing that?
So twofold. One, we learn in civics class that it's a majority rules democracy, right? But in most districts, for most down ballot races like state rep or even Congress, the election is really decided in the primary because of gerrymandering. If a district is created to be 60% Republican or 60% Democrat, the general election's unlikely to be the decisive election. It's the primary, the election that's happening now. The early voting is happening now. And even as you point out, turnout is relatively up in this primary. Even if it's up 20%, fewer than 1/4 of voters will participate in this election. And then that 1/4 of the population is split into 2 different primaries, and then you've only got to win half the vote in your primary to win. So you can get elected with 5 or 6% of the support in your district. Yeah. When voters look at their politicians and wonder, why don't I feel represented? It's because they're not winning with 50% of the votes. They're winning with 5 or 6% of the votes. The other effect of this is that because primaries are low turnout and because it's mostly the fiercest partisans who vote in them, we get nominees in the general election when we think we're deciding who's going to represent us who don't represent good choices for a lot of people. They have a hilarious social media bit with a general election voter going to look at the 2 choices, and he opens the first one, and it's Thanos, who wants to disintegrate half the population of the galaxy. And then he's like, well, maybe the other one's better, and it's Satan. And he's like, I don't really want to vote for either of these 2 candidates.
Yeah, not great choices.
And it's hilarious. But it's sadly, that's the way a lot of voters, 40% or more of Texans identify as not being a member of either party, and yet the choices they've got are the fiercest partisans on the ballot.
Yeah, and you touched on this though, Mark, but why do you think more people are really inspired perhaps or more likely showing up right now to vote in this primary? Because we have seen turnout much lower than it is right now.
I do think there is a significant uptick. As Stacey has said, we have to wait until election day to see whether it's actually an overall increase in turnout or whether it's just people avoiding the lines and voting early. There does seem to be more energy on the Democratic side this time. I have a feeling, we never know why voter behavior changes from election cycle to election cycle. We'll do surveys after the fact and see what people say. As hard as groups like hers and mine work to increase turnout, ultimately what drives turnout is when voters are excited about the candidates. And so I gotta think that there's excitement brewing about some of the candidates on the statewide ballot.
And Stacey, we want to wrap everything up by talking about you all releasing a nonpartisan voter guide to try to help people navigate through some of these choices.
Yeah, I mean, there's one of the things, and Mark mentioned this earlier, the primaries can be difficult because you go in the ballot, and I mean, there's just folks that you've never heard of that are running.
Perhaps races you've never heard of either, too.
Races you've never heard of, and so what we really wanted to do was provide this nonpartisan resource, but it's unique. It's not your typical voter guide. We call it the Builder's Index, and as you go through, you can type in your address. You're going to see the Republicans and the Democrats that are running, and what we've done is we've utilized like 5 criteria. You know, their rhetoric. Are they builders in the way they speak? Do they engage in personal attacks? Are they bipartisan? Do they show up to vote? Really basic values that both sides are going to expect out of their candidates, and they're either going to be rated as a builder or they're going to be a divider. And if we don't have enough info, especially on a new candidate, it'll be a toss-up. But you can look at all the sources. It's not a black box. You can see how we've calculated these. But we really believe over time that politicians are going to want to be a builder, and hopefully that incentivizes some better behavior, not only when they're running, but when they're actually governing.
Being mindful of some of those criteria.
That's right.
Where can people find that exactly?
BuildersTX.org.
All right, we'll send it there. But Mark and Stacey, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.